Estás viendo Canal América, televisión dominicana para el mundo.
A Time for True show is sponsored by the Office of Dr. Bernard Fialkoff, a periodontal, dental implant and laser specialist in New York City, for over 40 years. Dr. Fialkoff was honored by the International College of Dentists and Pierre Fauchard, and received the Presidential Lifetime Humanitarian Honor from the White House. Call us at 718-229-3838.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got, but the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your fears.
Welcome to A Time for True show. I'm your host, Dr. Bernard Fialkoff. It's a pleasure to welcome you back with us. And tonight we have a special show because we've been at the UN recently for the past few months. And this past Friday we celebrated the International Day of Hope. And what is the UN? But the UN is but an organization of hope. But hope is wonderful. But the actuality of that hope, or the result, the production of a flourishing, prospering society, that's left to the advocates, to the leaders, to those who unite at the UN with dreams and illusions that we make reality. And tonight's show is about two such advocates and leaders that we have with us, and I'll introduce them to you now. An engineer, if you put their pictures up on the screen, we'll introduce Garry Dorlean, a respected radio, television personality and journalist who has a passion for providing factual information, education, and equipping our society to make informed decisions. He is well known as a radio and television host of radio comedy FM 90.5, FM Rendez-Vous du Dimanche, Society in Action, Politique, Société, and Connaissance et Reminiscence. Dorlean is founder of Society in Action, a not-for-profit organization with the goal of providing for the less fortunate by collaborating with and reaching out to the community and providing humanitarian assistance through free events such as health fairs, legal clinics, back-to-school fairs, food drives, clothing drives, etc., etc. His partner and the executive director of Society in Action is Sherly Debrosse-Boisrond, a global peace ambassador, the CEO and founder of Stratavise Consulting Incorporated, the CEO of Renew Health and Wealth LLC, the president of Society in Action Incorporated, and a certified wellness coach, healthcare administrator, and program coordinator for the Department of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation at SUNY Downstate Medical Center. Sherly has held multiple leadership positions at Maranatha French SDA Church, and as servants of God and guided by truth, these two leaders are recognized advocates for health, youth, empowering our society, global diplomacy, and their combined awards include amongst them the 2019 Program Coordinator of the Year, 2017 Community Service Award, citations from many legislatures, some of which are New York State Senator Kevin Parker, Nassau County Legislature, New York State Assembly, and Congresswoman Yvette Clarke, and recognitions from our group, Drug-Free World, the Americas chapter, and from FOPAL, having recently received their prestigious Conscious Clock, a beautiful award. And engineer, if we will, let's bring them up live and welcome Garry Dorlean and Sherly Debrosse-Boisrond to A Time for Truth show.
Hi, how are you?
Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
You know, it's a pleasure to have you both. And you're two amazing human beings, because every time I met you, you're doing so much. I see you unite people. You have like a natural passion for humanity. And so I wanted to ask you, you know, when you were both very young, right? What were your dreams like? First, I'll start with whoever one wants to start first.
This is an interesting question. When I was in my early childhood, I can say both of my parents, including my grandparents, they had played a major, significant, virtual role into my life development. That providing emotional support that make my life experiences and serving as a role model these days from my country to the United States of America. In my community, I can tell you how they look at me because of the truth. When I heard the name of the show, A Time for the Truth, it was amazing for me because that's my passion. That is my mission, the truth. That's why also Ambassador Sherly Debrosse, known that I had so many people who've been dislike me because I speak the truth. You know, these days we're living in a world, people doesn't want to familiate themselves with the truth, because sometimes the truth puts so much blood out of the vein, and they can come across to even take your life. And then, as per the question you asked, my parents, they often pass on family values until ethic and moral that shape myself and any child, that bring your personality not to the sky, but my personality can create my own galaxy. Why? Simply because I have integrity. My morals shape me instead with, I can call, loyalty. I'm loyal with people. I know your question have something behind it, says my mindset and the outlook.
That's right.
Let's put it this way. You know, churches play a major role in people's life. The fear of God also play a major role. But what people doesn't see through that, the outlook, make you experiences a particular strict fear based on profound impact that create anxiety, that create you less than a person to know yourself better. Because sometimes the impact that churches and your parents make you got the fear of God to make you a better person in the society, for the society to accepting you. It's create the selling of yourself, not to stand in your ground to defend yourself, because they make you have the fear of God, and that fearness cost something. Call. It's call. It wasn't in my brain, but I think I put it down somewhere. But it's something that religious people may not believe. As a Christian, I can say that. They make you have the fear of evil. And if you have the fear of evil, they may think if you do bad, God will punish you. God called God something good. How come something good can punish me because I do wrong?
Very interesting. Well, you know what? Now it's your turn, Sherly. And tell us how your early outlook, your dreams, how did that shape what eventually occurred? What were your dreams back then?
Well, again, good evening, Dr. Fialkoff, and thank you for the invitation,
You're
for
quite
having
welcome.
me here in your program this evening.
It's
I
a
am
pleasure.
honored to be here to share my journey on how I became passionate about health, wellness, and empowering the youth and others, you know. My early life shaped my mindset and outlook to the strong foundation of growing up in a religious home, surrounded by a caring family and a strong community. You know, I was taught early on to be mindful of my health and to understand how deeply it can impact me in every aspect of my life and my family and the individuals around me. So, and, you know, that upbringing instilled in me the values of faith, responsibility, and compassion, which continue to guide my approach to wellness and service today.
Very nice.
So this is my outlook and what shaped me to
Well,
be the person that I am today.
That makes total sense. And you know what? Let's reverse now the roles. And so now, how did then that, and you know, Hans went more into the media, and you seem like you've gone into the health and to the administration, right? And how did that happen? How was it that you started to go into that sphere?
Well, you know, it's funny the way that happened for me. I remember after I had my first daughter, I was looking for a job. I was fresh out of high school. I didn't go to college. I was married with a young baby. I was a stay-at-home mom, and then I decided to look for a job. At the time, newspapers were very popular. I went and purchased a newsday. And through that newspaper, all I saw were medical assistant. I had no idea what a medical assistant position was, what they did, what the expectations were. So I decided that I was going to go to school to become a medical assistant. Okay. And mind you, I do not like blood. I did not want to be around cadavers or anything of the sort, but I decided to become a medical assistant. So I work in the field now for about 25 years because my daughter's 26. Wow. My oldest daughter's 26. Okay. So I started as a medical assistant, and then I worked my way up to become a health administrator. And now I work in GME program where I manage medical school, medical students who comes from around the world to be educated to become licensed clinicians.
Yeah, it's amazing. I was going to say is that because I had the experience one afternoon where my wife had to go do something. And I had my 3 kids. One was about 8, the other one was 6, and the other guy was about 2, and he was in a stroller. And I went to a place that I don't know if they have anymore because I haven't kept up with it. It was called Chuck E. Cheese, with all the games and the sounds. And I thought it was going to be easy. And I got there, and the next thing I know, my son went that way. My daughter went that way. I was trying to control them. This guy in the stroller is trying to get out. After about 3 hours, I got back in the car, got back to my house. I was very happy to be at the home, and I came to a conclusion. I said, wow, women are amazing creatures because they do this 24 hours a day, nonstop.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
And so I laud you that you went through that. And you know, I would love to speak to more, but we have so much I want to cover with both of you. So now, Hans, I want to ask you. So now, with you, how was it that what happened early on with you, you go now into this media field?
This is an interesting question about the media. What truly inspired me to proceed media work is my unwavering commitment to the truth. Journalism is not just a career for me. It's simply my passion and my mission for the truth, to uncover and share the fact that matter also make me developing the unconditional love for my country. The media taught me from my childhood when I seen the way that government in Haiti at that time treating their own people. And in film school, I read a book at that time, that book called The True Value of the Truth. And then I saw Neil Armstrong, the one the United States of America so-called walk on the moon. And then I said, is true someone can walk in the moon? Since then, I've been trying to seeking for the truth. Until the truth had to come these days. The Apollo 11, at that moment, 1969, never went to the moon. They lied to us. Until the President of the United States that I may appreciate after Abraham Lincoln, his name called Ronald Reagan. That's in this time the United States actually went to the moon. Now, the real truth that I've been seeking to brought into the media itself, it's the UN part. 1945, United Nations been created from the Society of Nations in San Francisco. The world knew why United Nations been created. Not because they're gonna teach you hope, like you just said, like you just mentioned, so many leaders gathering most of the time at the UN in different conference rooms to talk about love, peace, hope, on and on, with no action. United Nations being created, simple, created. While the imperialism 1885 in Berlin, Yalta, divided the world in two sides. They have United Nations just to divide the country, just to move what we call borders, and rename these countries, and rename their nationality, rip off their natural resources, make genocide, put president as their puppet. If you don't follow their rules, they kill you, or either they call you dictator, or either they dislike you and lie among your family and your nation. That's what United Nations is all about. It's an instrument in the imperialism European hands, per se, State Department of America using them with fear. Tell them, if you don't follow what I said, I'll take myself out, or either I don't give no money for the council. That's why Haiti's been in poverty area. United States of America, from the State Department to the UN, according to the branch of executive called the Congress of the United States, been destroying my land day by day. That's why this day, that's pushing me into the media world, politics, and diplomacy, to face them with the truth and tell them to stop, or either my country, we done it before in 1803, we will do it again. We will put the United States of America out of that land. They've been taking my natural resources. They assassinate my president. From Jean-Jacques Dessalines to Michel Sassonatis Lecomte, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, to Salnave, Villebrin-Guillaume Sam, Horace Zamor, all these names, the president of Haiti, United States destroy them, kill them for only one reason: they don't want Haiti to stay in the map. With that fierté, how do they call fierté in English?
Proudness.
With that proudness that we have. We beat the strong army in the world in 1803, Napoleon Bonaparte, French army. We proclaim freedom, we proclaim liberty, and we proclaim freedom for other lands, other countries like Venezuela, any other in the Latino America, through Europe, Greece, United States at that moment do Ayukatapa. You know what is Ayukatapa mean? It's mean United States keep going everywhere all around the world, taking other country, kill the president, take their land. There was a country called Zaire. Where is Zaire now, these days? Now we call Congo Brazzaville. They changed their name. They used to have a country called Madianite. Where's those people? They destroyed them. And then now they have something in their hand, United States of America, to make my land become one with the Dominican Republic. And Haiti will be in protectorate in 2030, controlled by the Dominicans only. And then destroy what we call the revolution of Haiti. Haiti will never exist as a nation. Did you see 2010 and January 12? There was a earthquake. United States make that earthquake. It don't have nothing to do with the nature. It's mankind made it. Bill Clinton does that with all of his friends. He's the one who destroyed Haiti. We're not gonna sitting down myself, look at them, destroy my country and don't put them out. I will kick them out of Haiti.
Interesting. So that now I was going to ask you a question. So you have this Society in Action group. So, because I see you're very, open, direct manner to protect your country, which I can totally understand, and it's your homeland. So I wanted to ask you a question now. Is Society in Action something you started independently, or why don't I ask that to you now, Sherly, and you let me know so that we can get both of you involved in this conversation. What is Society in Action? How did you decide to formulate it? I mean, you founded it, you're directing it. And what is its mission?
Well, Society in Action is a non-profit organization. Our mission is to serve the underserved community, single mothers, the forgotten children, the children without the resources, and our responsibility, our job. I personally, as the president of Society in Action, it is my duty to make sure the forgotten are not forgotten. That, they have hope, as we speak about hope at the United Nations. That because so many of them have lost hope, they feel like no one cares, there's no support. So Society in Action is here to bridge that gap, to close that gap, so that they know they're not forgotten. There are people out here working and supporting them.
I see. Okay. And so, the show is going so quickly because it's a very interesting show. Like many things that happen when a lot is important, the time seems to fly. So let's see if we can take advantage. We have a few moments left on the show. We may have to have you back again because there's maybe much more that we can talk about in the show that we have tonight. But you were at the UN. You were both at the UN, and you were very clear on your feelings. So let me ask you this. Obviously, with all the weapons we have in the world and the biologic warfare, even though we utilize war, to me, I think it's an insane solution. It destroys the climate. It destroys young men who die for the leaders, really, all the young men of all the countries. Mm-hmm. And it causes tremendous upheaval. It makes a lot of money for some people, which everyone knows. So let me ask you this. You run the Society in Action. You do many, many things in the New York community and globally. You have a few minutes. What would you like to see happen? What do you feel, not just for Haiti, but for every country and humanity? What do you feel for this show, because we're near the end, but what do you feel needs to happen?
It's a very interesting question. All your questions are very interesting to me. What exactly do I want to see happening in this planet Earth? Well, it may not happen because greed, you mentioned it, they're after money. It's to unite and have the fear of destroying that planet. I'm not saying fear of God, because God living in you is inside you. Mm-hmm. To destroy the planet itself.
That's right.
Because these weapons calling nuclear proliferation can destroy that planet, even though them build bunkers underground to live after 50 years after they throw that Samad weapon STR-20 something 28 than Vladimir Putin have in other countries. But what I want them to come up in diplomatical field, even though in diplomatical field there is a lot of hypocrisy, because most likely they don't target exactly what they're supposed to be target in diplomacy, to tell, okay, this is not supposed to be happen, and period. As a mankind, we don't need those. They simply try to make you understand, okay, this group, they exist, let them live, try to, this conflict to not to have a war, but we can live together. What I mean, they create so much gang members, Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram, ISIS, you can name them. United States create them to kill president. They need to stop. Change their foreign policy. Accept those countries, their sovereign. Let them take their own decision by their own people. Let them sell their own natural resources at the price on the market. Don't come and kill and take it for free and names them, call them names. Call them terrorists. You can do that. That's what I'm expecting to see. Change your policy. Let us live our lives. We can take control of the planet as a mankind. Since back in the days, it was fine when matriarcha controlled the planet. Meaning, the woman that you just called. To me, God is a woman. Let them control. Since men have control, things goes upside down. Too much greed. That's the reason why you see they have so many women. They have so many wives. Because they greed. You need only one to live. Even though I have plenty. It's a joke. To make you laugh. Because you take the show pretty serious. I like that. The fact that the world, we need a different environment.
Absolutely. You know what I'm going to say is we're going to need to have another show because we've covered so much today, but I want to actually do something here at the end as we finish. You have to realize something, which I witnessed in my house with a plant that I planted. And this plant that we bought was sent to us. But in the shipping, by the time we opened it, the leaves were all dead and the thing looked dead. But it had just been recently shipped, so we thought, okay, we put it in the ground. All the leaves disappeared. And I told my wife, I think it's dead. She goes, no, it's not dead. And she cut, and she left just a stick sticking out of the ground for 2 months. Now, if I took a piece of wood and put it in the ground for 2 months, a year, you would have to put fertilizer and chemicals, nothing would happen because it's a piece of wood, not live. And I want, as we get to the end of the show, because Mr. Dorlean, Hans, has brought up some very interesting topics here that we need to just end on, but conclude. This plant that had died, about a week ago, out of that wood, leaves came out. There was no opening in that wood, but the leaves came out. And I said to my wife, I said, you know, it's amazing because it's alive. And I guess it was in the hospital in a coma. I'm making a joke because the plant seemed to be in a coma. But it came out of the coma and it came alive, and it may seem like nothing, but this has everything to do with what Hans has been talking about. Humanity needs to come out of the coma. Humanity needs to realize the miracle of life, that a piece of wood that seemed dead can somehow start sprouting. But we could just destroy it, and I could have pulled it on the ground and thrown it away. Let's really look at the miracle of life when we think about, as he said, the greed. Because what is the greed doing, and is it helping life, or are we endangering the entire planet? We talk about climate change. Let's not exacerbate it with our wars. We talk about humanity and what the UN stands for. Let's actually have it come to fruition. I really appreciate you being here and your forthright manner. Thank you, Sherly.
Thank you,
You
Dr.
have some
Jacob.
smile, and I think it gives Hans, you know, that ability to relax in a while. I see he's a warrior, and he needs to come home and relax once in a while. And for those of you watching, we're going to have them back on. I think it's a very interesting topic, some controversy. But you know, I found out something also with being a married man of many, many years. You can have some tremendous arguments and fights when there's affinity, when there's love and something there to begin with. When there's nothing, you don't feel anything. There's no remorse. But the beauty is, if we get to the other side of that conflict, we always come out higher and a new life. Let's do that. I think this show was very interesting. Thank you for being on the show. For you watching, think about what we said, the miracle of life. And let's see that we actually do something to make it go into the future. Let's not worry about hope. Let's create a reality. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you on the next episode of A Time for Truth show. Be well.
This show was sponsored by A Time for Truth Foundation Incorporated as a community service.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got, but the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your feet